Well, all right, you guys. It is Friday, and I'm on the way to the rally in the alley for the righteous fight against the criminals who counterfeit shares at will in company after company, enriching themselves and Wall Street at the expense of American investors. I'm partly doing this video as I'm walking to the metro. There's a little noise there from the garbage truck. To test out a microphone system I bought so that when I'm there, maybe I can have some interviews and give you an interesting live presentation. But I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people videoing, so I might be superfluous. I also want to tell, there was a gentleman on the call yesterday, my live call, who had purchased 80,000 shares of lgiq, and I've been thinking about it all night. I went over to the hotel and I got to meet Jeremy Frommer and a bunch of guys, brothers Eric and Anthony, and the Marine. I met the Marine and a bunch of people. I'm missing out on some of the names. But what a lot of energy that's there, good energy, to fight this cause. I really think that, here, I'll just show you how this city looks. This is your capital city. I really think that the powers that be, and it's not everyone on Wall Street. Partly it's people that designed it at the top, but then it's also just clever people, lawyers, criminals, desperate, people that have been fired from their brokerage firm, so they start a market maker, and they're just trying to make a living, and they look the other way. They all make their compromises, and because FINRA does nothing and the SEC does nothing, there's an enormous amount of profit There's a job that men do. No one's clamoring to even up the percentages between men and women as garbage collectors. Every now and then you see a woman do it, but in general, that's a man's job. Anyway, I wanted to tell you about lgiq. I forget right now the gentleman's name. I want to say Ben, but I'm not sure that was right. Something, I can't remember. Here's three things about lgiq, the company lgiq. They're going to have a record date soon, and that record date is going to be for the completion of the merger into the Aubrey SPAC. As that happens, what is called Data Logit, the subsidiary, becomes the new co, as Aubrey SPAC de-SPACs. Man, they destroy the English language. So the SPAC is going to be de-SPACed, and it'll become Data Logit to start with. Now, I don't know if they're going to keep that name. I would assume they are. That entity should be valued somewhere between $2 and $2.50, maybe as much as $3 a share out of the gate. And they already had, I'm trying to remember his name. You can look it up by Googling lgiq. But they had a gentleman join what's now Logic, it'll be Data Logic, from MediaGel. And if you Google MediaGel, that's a fantastic company, it looks like to me. And it makes a lot of sense to combine it with Data Logic. And you can look at the gentleman's comments. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting his name. But the point is, the logical next acquisition would be MediaGel. So the stock right now, Logic, is trading around 36 cents, 38 cents. I'll get to that in a minute. The second thing that's going to happen on that, well, you'll qualify at the record date. The second thing that's going to happen is the company, Logic, sort of becomes a shell for a minute. And that shell, we're a city, this city, everything's under construction. Everywhere you look, even though there's a recession going on, a lot of these real estate projects have momentum. They're like a battleship. They're hard to turn around. But this is U Street going towards Georgetown, and then this is U Street, I don't know if you can see it, going toward Union Station, which is where I'm going, although I'm doing it by the tube. This is the Lincoln Theater, which is a historic theater. This is U Street. Right here is Ben's Chili Bowl, which is a landmark Washington, D.C. Eatery. That's Bill Cosby used to eat there, Barack Obama, and me. You can see me there sometimes. But it's survived a lot of the strife and now the boom. Anyway, I'm going down into the metro, and I'll finish this up quickly. So to that gentleman who owns 80,000 shares of Logic, soon there'll be a record date in order to get what is going to be the Aubrey SPAC part of the distribution, which is going to be de-SPACed. The shell is already announced is going to buy the asset management company. That is worth about 50 cents to start with. They already have lined up an additional acquisition. So this stock that's trading at 38 cents, and I'll tell you why it is in a second, is shortly going to have a record date that gives you 2 for 1. I don't know the ratios, the exact percentages of shares. Doesn't matter. You're going to get a piece of 2 different companies that are valued somewhere between $2.50 and $3.50, and maybe as high as $4 a share at that first trading. Now, why are these shares down? You saw at the end of the year, at the end of 2022, see, these are the machines, and I've got 10 cents on that card. I never throw the cards away because they cost money. 35 cents on that one. I have a bunch of cards. I may just add to it while I'm talking to you. I didn't want to do that. Let me just finish up and with you. Let me see if I have another card that has fair value on it. Sorry to take time, sir. So anyway, you're going to have a record date shortly, which has it's slow. Man, I've got a lot of cards that have 40 cents, 35 cents. I've got about a dozen cards. I should just turn them in or something. Anyway, so that record date is going to come soon, very soon, and you're going to have 2 for 1, which I think will be valued somewhere between $2.50 and $4 a share out of the gate. You're then going to have a lot of mergers, acquisitions during the year. There's a lot of deal flow. Each of the separate companies have their next target identified. So I'm really excited about the future for Logic, and I think Logic can finish this year as a $10 company. That one's $1.55. I always constantly am buying new ones, so I have this collection in my pocket, and they all look the same, so you don't know which one has the money on it. It's not that one. I might just have to add value, which is easily done. Anyway, so there will be a record date very soon on that. That's a reason to hang on, and it's a reason to be excited. All right, that's got value. Let's go. I found that material things I thought had so much value, they didn't have any value at all without someone to love me. For me. And then girl, you came into my life. You made the jagged edges smooth and just to be close to you, girl. If only for a moment, if only for an hour. So anyway, sorry about this noise. Let's get down. You got to send more tax dollars to DC to fix this for me. All right, let's go away from that noise. So anyway, sir, I'm sorry. I wish I could remember your name and be polite. But for the gentleman who owns 80,000 shares, I think very shortly there'll be a record date. It's going to change into this is where we're going. It's going to change into a company two companies worth a total of $2.50 to $4. But the other thing I wanted to tell you, right now, GoLogic, GOLQ, Logic owns 10% of that. At the $3 price GoLogic is trading right now, it was higher just yesterday and last week. That, unless I've done my arithmetic incorrectly, that's $114 million market cap. $114 million market cap for GoLogic, and Logic owns 10% of that. And Logic has 47 million shares, so I think it's about 20 cents a share, 22 cents a share. GoLogic is worth in Logic right now, so you're paying 38 cents. I think it's around 22. It might be 26 cents. I'd look, but I'll disconnect you. Point is, you're getting 10%, and you can do the arithmetic yourself, but the 110 million market cap of GoLogic divided by 47 million shares times 0.1 times 10%, that's the value per share that you're getting of GoLogic when you buy Logic. So you're paying right now 38 cents, you're getting over 20 cents of GoLogic value, and you have these two distributions. You know, it's pretty exciting. And so why is the stock down? This group called Ionic has about 1.5 million shares that they're selling. Every day they sell a little bit, and apparently they will stop once they're finished with the 1.5 million. We saw how high the stock can go once they stop selling, because for about 3 or 4 days, apparently in retrospect, I didn't know it at the time, Ionic could not sell because of they had insider information, and so they actually honored that rule. And once there was a news announcement, they could continue their selling. So when that disappears, I think you'll see the stock going up. There's also a gentleman. There's always noise. There's also a gentleman who has 250,000 shares, a former employee of lgiq, who just met his 1-year deadline, and he might sell, but there's no indication that he is. So basically, you have 1.5 to 2 million shares to work through, and then I think lgiq goes to $152, $250, and higher. So anyway, here's my train coming, and I'm gonna go to the rally, and I promise you, if I'm interviewed or have a chance, I'll bring up the short position in lgiq and golq. Who said that life is brutish and short? All right.
Step back towards closing.
The life of the strap hanger. Talk to you later.